Light through yonder window breaks. It is the east, and Lauren is the sun. Hello and welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another I Know That Nerd. I'm your host, Stephen Stark. Joining me this week is the lovely Lauren, aka Shakes, Shakespeare of Thrones. You probably already know her, but now we're going to really get to know this nerd. So, Lauren, why don't you say hi to everybody? Let them know more who you are, where they can find you if they want to see your stuff.
Oh, gosh. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren, and you can find me on Twitter. That's where I mostly hang out, at Shakes of Thrones, or you can read my essays at ShakespeareofThrones.com. And I also have a YouTube video, and I'm still a YouTube channel, and I'm still in the process of throwing up audio from all of my Con of Thrones panels, so you can see that and recorded essays at Shakespeare of Thrones. So,
right on.
Yeah, that's me.
So speaking of panels at Con of Thrones, we had two panels we shared together. Mm-hmm. We did the Northern Justice one, which was a really big panel, and then we also did the Honor in Westeros panel, which saw its birth because I watched one of your videos where you were comparing Ned and Brutus.
Yeah, that's right.
That was
Brutus
like
from Julius Caesar.
That was sort of the birth of that panel, and I'm super happy that you and also Wendy at the Wendy Nerd chose to do that panel with me, because that's maybe my favorite subject to talk about is the honor aspect of stuff.
It went really well. I remember that was my first panel of the con, and at first when we got done with it, I thought, oh man, that felt like, the warm-up panel, just getting into it. But then I listened to it again when I was editing the audio, and I thought, this was actually really good. This is one of the best ones that I did this whole con. I was really pleased with it. Check it out, you guys. It's on my channel. Really enjoyed that one myself. Probably I don't know, picking a favorite panel is like picking a favorite kid, but like that one was just a lot of fun. Yeah, and we had a lot of great questions from the audience. We really did. There was great engagement. And my D&D group thanks you as well, because Joe Magician knows this. I told him this when he was on I Know That Nerd before, but the pair of videos, the sister videos you did with him about witches and the triple there's sort of the inverted triple aspect goddess, that inspired the main bad guy in my current D&D game. So really? Yeah. Oh my goodness. I want to hear about it. Okay. So tell us about it. I will tell you about it in a moment. But first, everyone, I told you all there might be a small surprise. And when I said small, I meant small. Hello,
Hey, everybody.
Yay. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Everyone, welcome back Sanrixian to the channel. She is going to be co-hosting today. And when we feel like it, we're going to throw up her tablet so she can do art for the community. Because what she does best. Because it's what you do. I don't know what she does best, but she's damn good at it. There's a lot of stuff she does she's really good at. But for the time being, I think we'll just say hi. Sandri, everyone here already knows you, but why don't you at least introduce yourself and tell everybody where they can find you?
Hi, guys. I'm Sanrixian. Mallory, whatever you want to call me is fine. I like Sandri. You can find me at sanrixian.com, and I'm on Twitter at Sanrixian, and I'll be at DragonCon this weekend. So if you're there, please come up to me. Please introduce yourself and blurt out your handle immediately so I know who you are, and then we can hang out and stuff. So yeah. I'll see you guys there.
Right on. A warm welcome for you in the chat there. Lots of people really happy to see you. Guys, if you would, can you share this video out and let everybody know that Sandri's on there? We kept it quiet on purpose. It's supposed to be a surprise, but let everybody know she's here. Lauren, you are the guest this week, however. So let's get started learning all about what makes you tick. Now, I'm going to start with Shakespeare of Thrones. Clearly, your two biggest fandoms are going to be Shakespeare and A Song of Ice and Fire, if I was going to guess.
Yes, and I love that Shakespeare is a fandom. I would have never known that Shakespeare was a fandom before getting on Twitter, so Shakespeare is a fandom.
I am aware that it is because of you, probably.
Right. Sorry, what was the question?
Well, the question really is, okay. Oh, Shakespeare. Why
Yeah.
Shakespeare? And because I have never been the biggest fan. I recognize that he's really great at what he does, but I'm dyslexic, and I also, the verbiage that he uses can be very challenging. So that's probably part of the reason why. So why Shakespeare?
Yeah, well, I got into Shakespeare from a very early age, which I think really helped. I've told this story several times on other podcasts, I think, but I was just sitting on the couch too much one summer when I was a kid, and my mom decided to enroll me in a Shakespeare summer camp for youth hosted by our state Shakespeare festival. And oh God, I hated it at first. It was really hard. I was cast as Ophelia in Hamlet, and
Ooh.
it was really, even though it was an abridged play, I was still 10 years old, and it was, a lot of lines to memorize and strange language. But I don't know. I just remember once I got it and once we were performing, it felt like solving a puzzle, and I don't know. It did feel like, it felt a bit like solving a puzzle, but also just escaping into this other world. And I really liked that. So I continued with it. I don't know. It's always been really hard to say why I like Shakespeare so much, because my thing is, why don't other people like Shakespeare so much?
Okay,
I mean, he's funny. It's very clever. There are a ton of puns, and the villains are amazing, and there are scenes that make you cry, and even iambic pentameter, it just has this flow to it that I've seen performances of it where people have been turning it into rap, because I don't know, this is kind of like the Hamilton effect on Shakespeare now. Like, people are,
okay.
I mean, Shakespeare has always been modernized, but it's like,
Sure.
oh wow, why didn't people see this before? That iambic pentameter has a very similar flow sometimes to like rapping, and why don't more people connect with it? And I think it's because people don't have, I don't know, I don't want to say that they have bad English teachers, because I wouldn't want to teach English. I think that would be really hard. And I respect English teachers massively for all that they do. I can't imagine. But I don't know. I think it's just really difficult to expose people to Shakespeare in the right way so that they connect with it. But when you do, it's like this secret world that you know about, that you love, and you just want to make other people love it too. So.
I mean, that I do understand. I do get that, like, you can't always explain why you love the thing, but like, I do get having that passion, having that drive to engage with it and to share your passion. That's literally why we're here today. Maybe you'll convert me into a true Shakespeare fan. I mean,
maybe. I mean, you have to put in some legwork yourself.
I understand. I mean,
I can't do it for you, but I can lead you to water and hope that you'll drink.
Right? Well, maybe we'll get to that here in a moment. But before we can do that, we have to go back in time to when a little baby Lauren came into the world. So I would like to talk about where were you born and where did you grow up?
Okay. Well, I was born in the Pacific Northwest in Washington on a military base.
Okay.
And now I work at that same military base. So I haven't gone far, but actually I have. It's just been like kind of a loop.
You've come back.
What was the other question?
Well, just, you grew up there, I guess. That's, if you were born there and you worked there, but you say you've been around. Where did you grow up then?
Let's see. I grew up, I was an Army brat. So
okay, I get that. I've been all over too for the same reason.
Yeah, that's right. I grew up, I was here in Washington for a couple years. Then we moved to Oklahoma, and then we moved to Germany. My first memories are from Germany.
You know what? My first memories are from Germany.
Really?
Yes.
Where?
We were in Hanau, which is in southern Germany, I think. And I hate to interrupt the conversation, but Sanri, having you on to do art is already paying dividends.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
I thought you were drawing a lady until you put a beard on.
Maybe I am. It's Lauren as the bard.
Well, I do have some pictures of myself as a youth in Shakespeare drag.
Okay.
Like,
well, here it is.
Drawn on mustache. That actually looks pretty close to what I look like. Only had a ponytail.
A ponytail?
Keep it as it is. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough for that. I would also like to, we'll take a moment to say hi to everybody in the chat who came out to join us. We got Leaf Underhill, Betsy Mitchell, that's my mom. Everybody be nice to my mom or I'll kick you out.
Aww.
Quawatli? I don't know how to say your name, but it sounds Aztec or Mayan to me, and it's very cool. I see John Webster, good friend of mine from Twitter. The Rainbow Guard, Sam of the Rainbow Guard.
Sam.
Melina, Bernie, Helen O'Grady, Danny McKay's out there, Nessie, hello, Sontevia, 26 Art Girl. I think that's everybody. Peter Griffin just popped in. Jaded Redhead, that's Kelly. Hi, everybody, and thanks for coming by. Okay, so back to Lauren. All these people came here to learn about you. So growing up as an Army brat, first memories are in Germany. Where were you at?
Okay, so kid memories are kind of hazy and pronunciations may not be right because the base doesn't exist anymore. But okay, it was in a town called Oxenfurt in Germany. Might have to do a little bit of light internet digging right here to make sure I have that right. Yeah, Oxenfurt? It was like yeah, Oxenfurt. That's right, in the district of Würzburg in Bavaria. So Southern Germany as well. Yeah, I have fond memories of it.
So how old were you when you came back to the States then?
Oh dear, hang on just a second.
Sure.
Hold on. My internet is doing something weird and I'm hearing everything all at once.
Mute you.
Okay. You probably have the video open somewhere else and needed to mute it.
Well, I had the video open so I could pop out the chat.
Right.
And then I went to search something.
And you unmuted it. Well, we'll wait for
she's getting there.
We'll wait for that. She's dropped out of the stream. She'll be back in a minute, folks. On the flip side, hey Mallory, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm gonna draw Lauren as Alyssa Farman.
Okay.
She did at Con of Thrones this year. And she's been my roommate 2 years running. So we're good Con of Thrones friends at this point, I feel like.
Right.
It's a good time.
And she's back. Hello.
Hi. I fixed it. It was playing on Twitter for some reason.
Oh, wow. That is weird.
Technical difficulties. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're back. Welcome back. So we were talking about how old were you when you came back to the States?
I think I was 5. I was going on like 5 to 6.
I think I was 4 when I came back. So ancient memories, but
my favorite memories are feeding the swans by the river. My dad would take me to the river to feed the swans.
Okay. And then you came back to the States, and not long after that, you were bored all summer and got enrolled in Shakespeare.
Yeah, it was 5 years after that. We came back to We came back to the States. We were in Pennsylvania for a while, then drove across the country to Washington, and then that's where I got into Shakespeare.
Cool. Well, so then my question is, while you were in school, was that like your big passion? Was sort of like theater arts, maybe? Or
I don't think like with all things, I don't think I realized how much of a passion it was until I couldn't do it anymore. Like it was just this thing that I would do in the summer and it was fun and I enjoyed it. And, I kind of look forward to it. And I don't know. I would also complain about it sometimes because I had so many lines to memorize, but I would enjoy it. And then the Shakespeare Festival closed down, I think 5 years after I started because there's too much competition from other theater companies in town in the summer. And I don't know, other people had a hard time getting into Shakespeare, I guess. So
yeah, I guess so.
They were seeing the musicals, but not the Shakespeare, which is very sad because there should be room for both.
I
But anyway,
mean,
once it closed down, that's when I started getting really into Shakespeare because it was like, wait, I really liked that. I want to do more.
that tracks for me. You know, like you don't
Mhm.
realize how much you love a thing until it's gone. You know, Game of Thrones ended, and when it did, I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, this thing that has been sort of like it's been a glue for years of my life. Not like the only thing, but like there are touchstones from my life that revolve around this thing that is just over, done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's not talk about how sad that makes me.
Okay, well, we'll move on then.
I was sad all through season 8, and
Yeah.
I like just sad because it was ending, and I was dealing with that while enjoying it, while trying to avoid the discourse, and it was a lot of emotion.
Too much emotion, if you will.
Yeah.
While also partaking in the discourse. So
Right. Well, you kind of famously really enjoyed season 8.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
I probably enjoyed it more than 90% of people did, but not quite as much as you did, maybe. But you know, I actually did enjoy it a good deal. You know, there's a lot of people who will make complaints about XYZ thing, but I'm just like, yeah. You know, I think there are complaints that can be leveled at it, but that's probably true of anything ever made.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
But so I did ask for people to send me questions for you, and there were actually a lot of really great ones. And I'm going to lead off with one from former guest Joe Magician, who just wants to know, what is your favorite astronomical object and why?
Oh my God. Matt, what?
Hey,
My favorite astronomical object?
And why?
Okay, so we're going to define astronomical objects here. These are
the sun, the moon, and the stars.
Objects. Well, yes, but they can also be items that are used to measure the sun and the moon and the stars.
Okay.
Like maybe an astrolabe.
Okay. I'm tracking you. See,
a telescope.
Matt, she's sidestepping the question, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Asteroids.
I mean, if you wanted, okay, yeah, I guess, because I was going to say then he should have asked your favorite celestial sphere or something like that. But I guess, yeah, because astronomical, it implies to me like the study of astronomy, and I don't know, I would say celestial object if we're just talking about things that are out in space.
Well,
I don't know. I really like the moon. I like the moon because it's big and I can see it, and it has different phases, and that's really cool.
That's as good an answer as I've ever heard.
I like it.
But I also love that, like, you spent 2 minutes explaining why you weren't going to actually answer his question the way he wanted, and that's maybe one of the best answers I've ever had on my show. So I
like
approve.
to be a rebel.
Ask
Do
better
you?
questions,
Hey,
Matt.
I'm an argumentative type too sometimes. You know, I play Magic the Gathering, and so does Matt. And there was a study, literally, somebody did a study on Magic the Gathering players, and they're incredibly argumentative because they want to find the corner case where what you said isn't true.
Yeah, there's some people who just want to argue. They can argue and, you know, be smarter than the person who brought up a topic, and that's annoying. But I don't know. I just like to argue for fun and then come back to the question in a respectful manner.
So were you in a debate team?
No, that's too competitive. That would no.
I have a side question, Lauren.
What's that?
I know that you are a fellow Slytherin like me, and Matt has a very hard time believing this. So I'm like,
oh my
it's
gosh.
not really that hard. So would you defend your choice as self-identifying as a Slytherin?
He not believe your choice is a Slytherin or my choice.
I don't think so either. I think he told me I was in Gryffindor.
So
See,
yeah,
I would have you, Lauren, pegged as a Ravenclaw, and Sanrixian as a Hufflepuff.
Oh,
I'm a Hufflepuff, so you better watch what you say. That's all
No.
I'm.
So I think that I really like. I've always been drawn to Slytherin kind of because I root for the underdogs a little bit.
Mhm.
And I guess you could say that Hufflepuff are the underdogs because they're, I don't know, a lot of people think they're the least visible house maybe in the Harry Potter series. I mean, there's Cedric Diggory and all of that, but he was kind of like the token really cool Hufflepuff. And
Right.
I mean, you can't deny that like there's so much attention spent on the Golden Trio, and then the Slytherins were the bad guys. And I don't know, I just I'm always into the villain origin stories, and not so much the villain origin stories, but like the hero from the unexpected place, or not even a hero, because I don't really
The anti-hero or the
need
tragic
that
hero.
necessarily. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's more for me, like being in Slytherin is just more of an aesthetic choice for me, because I like that their house is under a lake, and
Yeah.
I like the color scheme, and I prefer winter to summer and all kinds of Slytherin-y things like that. And also sometimes I can be a real grouch, and if you've ever been with me to a party, you probably know that. So I can definitely have a Slytherin.
I have
was a
been with you to
Slytherin.
a party or two, and you were not grouchy. Of course, it was con weekend.
Oh,
Nobody was really all that grouchy. You were part of the very effing weird crew.
very up in what?
Very
Effing weird.
effing weird.
Oh, I don't know. I think we were all effing weird.
You were part of the parking lot experience.
Yeah, the parking lot.
Oh, that one.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a small group of us that will always have the parking lot in Nashville as
Bumble
like a
F
shared
Nashville.
experience, and it's like one of those. It was great, and Lauren was there, Sanri was there.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it was.
Michael.
I mean, yeah, props to you, Stephen, because you came in late, and we were already in the parking lot when you came. So we were at, anybody who hasn't heard this story, we went to a party at the VFW because we heard it was the place to be, but it was way out in the boonies. And as soon as I walked in, I was like, oh man, this makes me feel like I'm at work, at a work function or something, because I'm in the military, and those are the kinds of places where we'll have a after work beer or something with the colonel, those kinds of things that I try to avoid, or I go for 5 minutes and then I leave. And so that's what I was like going in. I was like, okay, I'm going to be here for 5 minutes and then I'm going to leave. And Stephen, you walked right in, and then you walked right back out.
Right, seconds.
Straight turnaround.
Well, for those of you who have seen on my Twitter, there's pictures on the internet circulating of me in a dress as Lyanna Stark cosplay. And I walked into the VFW and saw a bunch of people I didn't know in uniform. I'm like, I love the people in here at the back, but I'm not even walking in. And we left, and it was fine. For those that were there, I heard it was a really good time for those that were there. But there was a small handful of us that we are forever the VFW. VFW is very effing weird, and it's a shared experience that I'll never forget.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we just wanted to be around where everybody else was partying, because it's such a short weekend, and it was a little bit too isolated to, I don't know, get to catch up with everybody who was at the con. So,
yep.
Right on.
I'm glad we went back to the Sheridan.
Me too.
We had a good time. We made a great night out of it.
We sure did.
I do want to say, like, you were talking about being Slytherin. I get liking Slytherin. I think Slytherin is cool. But Stephen Stark is a Hufflepuff, and I can't help that, you know?
That's good. You know, I've done some, I don't know. When I found out that I was a Slytherin, I started to do a little bit of Tumblr exploration. And I saw that, as you do, I mean, who doesn't?
Right.
And I saw that, like, Gryffindor and Ravenclaw, they're kind of like house buds. But then Slytherins and Hufflepuffs are actually the, like, other pair of house buds. Like, Slytherins are supposed to look after Hufflepuffs, and they secretly like how nice and
right,
cuddly Hufflepuffs are.
right.
Because Slytherins are that deep down. We don't want you to know, but we are.
Yeah, but
or maybe not even deep down. Like maybe we show it, and we're not that deep down. But
you protect it. You keep it on the inside. You don't let anybody see your soft, chewy core because you got appearances to keep up and snakes and things to tend to. As a Slytherin.
And snakes are cool. Mm-hmm. I'll give you that too. Snakes are cool.
Oh yes, they are very cool.
Yeah, I would like to spend more time with snakes. Particularly your long boys, Mallory, because they're super cute.
They're good boys. And one girl.
Oh my goodness. Look at this. Is this me as Alyssa Farman?
Yes.
Yeah, you were
off. Oh, yes.
You had just dropped out when she said that's what she was doing, and you recognized it immediately.
And here's Mary in the background.
Yeah.
That's Raina.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I wish I had that picture handy. It's.
Oh, I've got it.
Yeah.
Let me pull up a window here.
It's fantastic. But okay, we're going to go back to some other questions. I've got lots of them for you. I have. Maybe you don't know her, Vanessa Amesti, one of my oldest fans. Always asks the same question. You can follow her at Vanessa Amesti 21 on Twitter. I love the girl. She's fantastic. Her favorite question: top 5 theories for Winds of Winter. Lauren, go.
Oh Jesus. Okay. So this is hard for me because I don't like theories. I mean, I like that other people do them, but I'm not a theory person.
I'm not either.
Because I'm my biggest fear is that I'm going to be reading Winds of Winter and I'm not going to be able to enjoy it fully because I'm just going to be thinking about so-and-so's theory and that's just going to be like swirling around in my head while I'm reading it. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't even know where to start. The thing is that if I start listing theories, it's really just stuff that other people have said because I haven't even. Okay, so one of my big theories. I'll do some off the wall things because that's just how I think. One of the things that I wonder about most is
there's the picture, by the way.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Classic meme.
There we go.
So good.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
That's it. It's a little bit blurred in the foreground. I love it.
It's perfect.
And it kind of matches her dress, so it's cool because it's like how in the original meme the two girls look the same.
Yes. It's perfect. There we go. You guys did great. Excellent job. Carry on.
You did great. You're the real artist. Like I just told you the vision and you knew exactly what to do with it.
Also the real meme lord, because I was like, oh yeah, I know that one. Let's do that one. Let's recreate it. Distracted boyfriend, go. Lauren, put your eggs down, girl. I got you. Hire me for all your meme recreations. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. So here's my top theory for Winds of Winter.
Okay.
I'm excited to see how George incorporates. I mean, it's been so long. It's been since the beginning of the show series that we've had a book and a song, that we've had a Dance with Dragons. And I wonder how this massive cultural phenomenon based on his books, this TV show is going to influence his writing. I mean, not influence per se, but you know how he likes his little inside jokes or, I don't know, maybe not even so inside now. But I feel like, you know how he did the whole Muppet thing in Fire and Blood, the Muppet Tullies?
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to give names to new characters from like the cast or something. Or if
that
he's
would be cool.
I think that's going to happen. I bet there's going to be some random character named Kit or Maisie or something. I think that something like that will happen.
And why not? You know,
I'm in for the little wink, wink, nudge, nudges. Those are the things I'm looking forward to.
What is it, Sir Patrick of something? Who's the Dallas Cowboys fan who gets beaten to death by a giant?
Oh yeah, and the Giants are named like
1-1, who's named after number 11 Phil Simms.
Yeah, and then the Three Stooges,
Yes.
who were they were something in the Vale. I don't even remember.
I think they
I'm not big on details,
I
guys.
think they were escorting
Weren't they
Catelyn
escorting
and Tyrion.
Catelyn? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah, and they were like with Maya Stone and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, that's legit.
It's a legit theory. It's not even really a tinfoil theory. I don't know what kind of theory you would call that, but hopeful.
Just a theory.
Yeah, just a hope. A hope. And okay, so I really want to see Cersei have I like book Cersei, and I respect the differences between book Cersei and show Cersei, but I hope that book Cersei goes in the direction of show Cersei. Show Cersei. Say that 3 times, 10 times fast.
Yeah.
For just a little bit before her downfall. Like, I don't know if she's going to blow up a sept or anything, but I hope that she wises up a little bit. I get that reading book Cersei is enjoyable for the whole train wreckness of it all, but I don't know, it's a little bit too caricature-like for me. And I am really rooting for Cersei to really fuck some shit up in a big way, knowingly, like not by accident.
Tell me what you really think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're ready for Cersei to go full-blown show Cersei.
Yeah, and I'm going to be rooting her on.
I'm with you. You know, okay, give it to me.
Yeah, especially because we know so much more of her history in the books too, and I do have so much empathy for her, and I feel like she deserves that, man. I really do.
Okay.
I don't think that she deserves to win, but
right, but she deserves to fight for it.
She deserves comeuppance, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think that's a character who, like, Georges had been playing with her as this evil stepmother witch type character, or who will go down in the books as a evil witch type character, which Pat Spinagle did a great essay on that, how Cersei might end up in Westeros history as a sort of witch character, like many predecessors in ASOIAF history have, like from Fire and Blood.
Almost any woman with power.
Right. And I really want her to achieve that apex of power. So I hope that happens. Okay.
You know what? That's good enough.
I'm thinking about other theories. Yeah.
You got your money's worth out of that one.
Can I ask a question?
No way, dude. Okay, yes.
Lauren, what book character would you say you think you're most like, and which one would you think you're most unlike?
Oh gosh, I was thinking about this the other day, and I came to a really good conclusion, and now I've forgotten it. So let's see. I don't know. Like, Brienne is my favorite character. I love her so much, but I don't think that she's necessarily the character that I am most like. I identify with her for a lot of reasons, but we have a lot of differences. I don't know. Like, none of them are like me. Like, they all have. The thing is that I find so many pieces of myself in many of the characters, and I locate myself in many of the characters, but I wouldn't say that any of them are, like, if I were imported into A Song of Ice and Fire, this is the person that I would be. I would probably be somebody like Maya Stone, who's just, you know, kind of hanging out and doing her job and hoping for love, and I don't know.
And trying to live her best life along the way.
Yeah, but just probably somebody regular like that. I don't know. Maybe not necessarily the hoping for love thing. I think that's more like 20-year-old me, because when I think about these characters in the books, I have to think about their age and how I was at that age.
Also, like, you can relate to a different character. Like, we've had these books for a long time now, since like So like you can relate to a different character throughout the different years of your life. Like I definitely related more to Sandor at a certain point than I did to Sansa, and it flips back and forth, you know. Like so Brienne at some points for you, I'm sure, and then Maya.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there are a lot of women I relate to. Probably Brienne and Catelyn. I mean, saying Maya is just throwing a random, very minor character out there who we don't know, who's not a hugely fleshed out character by any means, and who doesn't have a POV. So I don't know. I'd rather like choose a POV character who's. I think that Catelyn has a very similar way of thinking to just reading her POVs and how she's always focusing on things that have been past and how they're informing the present and what could happen, and her desire to be diplomatic but also protect her interests. I think that's a lot like me.
Yeah.
It tracks for me.
Probably Catelyn. Yeah.
Who did nothing wrong, if your T-shirt is to be believed.
Who did nothing wrong. Yeah, I know.
We should have a debate because Catelyn did things wrong, but I also understand the vitriol that some people have for her, and I'm just like, she did nothing worse than anyone else.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that.
Yeah. What house do you think that Catelyn would be in?
Ravenclaw.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, I know. Stark, totally.
yeah, totally. I've never been the biggest Harry Potter fan. I do enjoy the story, but like I never got sucked into that fandom. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me neither. I think I read the books before there was before the internet exploded.
Right.
And fandom was a huge word anyway. I don't know. I think she'd probably be a Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
I can see her as a Ravenclaw.
That's what I was.
Or a Gryffindor.
I think she'd be a Gryffindor.
You think so?
I do. She's very brave. She's very committed to, she's very loyal. Those are both big. Wait a minute. Did I say Ravenclaw?
You said Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
You
Okay,
said Gryffindor.
That's what I'm thinking. My read on it anyway.
Mm-hmm. But then you ask the character who I'm most unlike. And I don't know, like this would have to be the character that there's so many characters that I'm not like.
There's a lot of characters just in general.
There's a lot of characters to choose from just in general. See, Stephen, I mean, this is the problem with doing it cold, because I could sit here for about 5 minutes and
that's okay. Ramble. That's fine. That just lets you think about it while we move on to another question. And actually, this one comes from the lovely and talented Joe Buckley, whose podcast, The Isle of Faces, you were on, and it was a fantastic episode. And he wanted me. Okay, I'm just going to read verbatim what he said. Make her talk about the parrot. She cruelly kept that info from me until after the fact. Smart move, because I would definitely not spoken about anything other than that parrot.
Aw, yeah. I wish that he could make a guest appearance, but this is my live streaming room for right now, and he doesn't do very well in this room. There's this big ship here with sails, and he flies around and would probably be spooked. So he's very shy.
What kind of parrot is he?
He's a blue crown conure. So
oh my goodness!
I'm jealous.
Yay big from head to tail, and he's so cute. He says a lot of things. His favorite 2 things to say are quack like a duck and tickle tickle.
Tickle.
He will just say those 2 things over and over and over again. And he also gives a lot of kisses. He laughs, he cries, and makes a zipper noise when he knows that I'm leaving.
Aww.
Why a zipper noise?
Because I don't know. I make a lot of zipping noises. I zip up my purse and zip up my jacket when it's, cold weather. And he just knows that that's the sign for going outside.
That's the outside noise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
He's super cute.
I always wanted like an exotic bird like that, but I'm in my mid-40s. Anyone that I got that was young would probably outlive me by a long time, and that can be traumatic. And I also travel for work, so
Yeah.
they're very social. They need a lot of socialization.
Oh,
I know.
yes.
So
They're best as companion pets, and he's like my mom's companion pet, but I take care of him a lot too. So we have joint custody pretty much. Like I take care of him when she goes out and goes places, but she mostly takes care of him, and he's almost kind of like her therapy pet. And I wouldn't recommend them just to be like, this is my cool pet, my fish. You know, they're not like, I think that a lot of people get birds thinking that they're easy to take care of like fish, and they're not. They're more work to take care of than dogs. And
my stepmom had birds, and I saw the commitment that it took. I mean, I would love it, but like it would probably be cruel for me to try to have an exotic bird at this point.
They also live a long time. They can live up to 50 years. So depending on the one that you get. That's
again another part of it. I'm 44 years old. I don't want a bird outliving me.
Yeah.
I worry about that with my snakes because they have a really long lifespan too. Like,
really? How long?
Live up to 80 years. Like Butters, he's 30 something. He could live another 30, 40 years.
You have a snake named Butters?
Yeah, his original name when he came to me was Chaos. So then he grew into Professor Chaos, and then
Butters. Okay.
And then just Butters. Yeah.
I got you.
I like Butters.
Yeah, he's a big, sweet, dumb.
It's super sweet.
He's a good boy.
So is that the only pet you have then? It's just the bird?
Right now I used to have a cat, but she died about a year ago.
Oh.
And it's really hard to keep pets. Like, it's so much commitment. It's so much money too. I don't know. I love pets,
you don't have kids.
Well, yeah, for a reason. Because
right.
I like sleep and I like having a life.
Right. Hey, do you, man? You know what you want more than anyone.
Yeah. That's true. And that's not to say that you can't have a life with kids. I totally did not mean to say that.
No.
But I get, sorry, it's more of a defensive posture. A lot of people ask me why I don't have kids.
I'm not asking you why. I'm just, I know that
I know that you weren't. I know you weren't. I was just excusing my defensiveness.
You're fine. You're fine. We're all good friends here.
A good that, Lauren, is why do you have kids? That's what I say all the time, at least.
Yeah, just reflect it back to them. It's always it's a good technique.
Okay, cool. Well, so another question for you. We're going to go to Clint of the Laughing Tree once. Ask her to fan cast new Shakespeare movie using GOT actors and actresses, and we'll just.
Oh my goodness, I love
this.
I was going to do a thread on this a while ago, but then I forgot about it. Okay, so the one that I did was Hamlet.
Take notes for your future thread.
Yeah, I would love to cast Hamlet with Alfie Allen as Hamlet. I think it would be amazing. He's got that look, he's got that. I mean, I don't know, maybe Kit Harington would be the shoe-in for it because he's so brooding, but Alfie Allen, come on. He's got the chops that they all have acting chops, but Alfie Allen,
they're all great actors. I think he's a cut above many others. Yeah. Sophie Turner as Ophelia. And I'm probably casting a lot of these actors as Hamlet characters in my mind because I've seen them bring that character to their character in Game of Thrones. Like I definitely see some Ophelia qualities in Sansa that Sophie Turner brought to the role, and I think that she would do a great job as Ophelia. She and Alfie Allen have worked really well together in the past. So I think that they would be really good in Hamlet together. And sorry to bring the incest back, but I would cast Lena Headey as Gertrude and Nikolai Coster-Waldau as King Claudius. I think they'd kill it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Nikolai has that Danish look, so you would instantly bring it.
Given that he's Danish, yeah. But hey, I'm here for that, man. I would buy a ticket for that movie right now.
Yeah. Oh, it would be so good. It would be so good. Yeah. As for other plays, I haven't really thought about it. I'm definitely speaking of Nikolai Coster-Waldau, he's going to be in a stage version of Macbeth, or how many? Well, there are film adaptations. He's going to be in Macbeth in LA next summer. I think it's by a theater called Geffen Playhouse, and I'm totally going to see it. So if anybody wants to get on board with that, tickets go on sale December 9th. I have it on my calendar, and I am going to go. Mary says that she's going to go with me.
And where is this?
Have a whole Twitteros party. It's in LA.
Okay.
And Nikolai Coster-Waldau is going to be Macbeth. So,
yeah.
It's a long way away. It might be like.
And you've met him a couple times now, right?
Once, but he held my egg.
Yes. Yes. Which egg did he hold?
The black one.
Drogon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he held Drogon.
I accidentally stole Rhaegal.
Are you drawing a bird saying zip?
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Oh, goodness.
The best.
Oh, you're drawing a birdie.
Mm-hmm. He's up here too,
so,
on your shoulder in your Harry Potter.
So he has like a little kind of a teal head that becomes green, like just at the neck. But you don't have to do that. You can make the bird that you want.
The bird I'm dreams.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, beautiful.
There we go.
Same colors as the Chinese water dragon, Moon.
Awesome.
Oh, I had a roommate who had a Chinese water dragon. Cool. I was Daenerys for Halloween once, and he was my substitute dragon.
Oh.
Cool.
Nat.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got like a little orange. Oh, you've got it. I could just watch Mallory draw for hours.
I could too, but that's why I asked her to come on. She's you used to do this and I missed it, Stanry, and I'm just glad you're back to doing it again.
Yeah.
And apparently word is getting around. We're up to 26 people watching right now, which might be the most concurrent I've ever had on an I Know That Nerd.
Wow, look at that.
Or it might be because Lauren is just awesome.
And beautiful.
Oh, you guys are so sweet.
Okay.
Oh.
We're just gonna continue with questions. You got a lot of people wanting to ask you stuff. Yeah. Pat Spanagle at Patman23 asked her if Shakespeare would have written season 8 with Brienne and Jamie living off in a cabin making super blonde babies.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Pat. I think. All right. Well, Shakespeare would have probably not seen Game of Thrones as a comedy, but
right.
I do think that it had sort of a Shakespearean ending, like a historical merged with tragic ending. So we were kind of when you think about it, we have not had that many marriages or any baby. We barely had any babies in Game of Thrones. So maybe that is what it needed. Maybe it did need a comedy style ending, and we should have had a double wedding like what happens at the end of Much Ado About Nothing. Right. Sure, why not?
Okay, you heard it here first, folks.
Shakespeare would have done it. Jamie and Brienne would have gotten married had Shakespeare written season 8. It's canon. Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you are the most knowledgeable Shakespearean scholar and that I have ever heard of or met. So you must have the answers. You must have the right answer.
Well, I don't know. I'm a little bit silly too. I don't know. I think he would have approved of Game of Thrones. I think he really would have approved of season 8 too. Just so that since you're giving me this power, this big Shakespeare scholar power, I'm just going to come out and say that yes, Shakespeare liked season 8 and he loved it the whole time.
Right. There you go.
Shakespeare likes season 8. Pass it on.
I'm not going to argue with the expert.
Shakespeare gave a thumbs up from the grave.
Right. Okay, so Pamela Cole over on Facebook please ask Lauren if she went ever went to Shakespeare at Wynedale near Round Top, or have you heard of it?
Where in the world is that?
I have no idea. Shakespeare at Wynedale near Round Top. One of my friends at
England, the States. Let me Google it really quickly.
Yeah, maybe so. I thought you would know it. Did you go to UT?
Nope. Go to what?
One of my college friends at UT did a documentary about it in the early 80s.
Oh, this is a college. I've never even heard of it. That's cool.
Pamela,
neat.
Can't help you there.
No, I would have loved to. I mean, I've never studied Shakespeare in college or, in a post-secondary school setting. So I would have loved to, actually. That would have been really cool, but I don't know.
That brings me to another question then. What did you study?
I studied linguistics. So I took a bunch of languages and studied how you make sounds in your mouth and how you string words together to make a sentence. So it was syntax and the meaning of language, semantics, history of language. It was real fun, nerdy stuff. I loved it.
Right on. Actually,
that was my first degree.
I find that fascinating. I do know that you are a talented singer and musician as well.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
And that study of voice.
You.
That study of voice tracks for me. Was in choir and all that stuff, and the study of how do you make noise with your face hole is really actually it's very complicated. I said something about it last week, even like I know how to do dragon breathing technique and false phone screaming and vocal fry, and some people are like, I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means at all.
Yes.
There you go. You just did some.
Yeah. It's actually kind of a signature of the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain did it a lot.
He did.
I think it got popular after he started doing it. Now I'm doing it. Now I can't stop. But we studied things like that too. Yeah. And that was a lot of fun. I was hoping to get intelligence when I commissioned into the Air Force, but somehow I ended up getting missile maintenance instead, even though I studied Arabic. So I'm not sure how that happened. You
a rocket scientist?
You know what? That's what they like to say. That's what they like to say to make themselves feel better down in the missile fields. Yep. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not typically what you think of. You think of like people who are building spaceships at NASA and stuff like that. But you can be a rocket scientist if you're in missile maintenance. Doing ICBMs, living the dream.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot of fun.
I only did that for 1 year and then I did something else, but that was my first placement. It was interesting.
The missile mania.
Okay, so
yeah,
did you go to college first, or did you join the Air Force first?
I did college first. I did ROTC.
Yeah. Okay, so you were an officer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and then I'm still in the reserve, so
I'll try not to hold that against you.
Oh yeah, sure.
As somebody who spent 4 years as an enlisted man, the officers can just stay over on your side of the whatever. But
we get that a lot.
Yeah. Well, the military literally wants you to make it that way.
Well,
but
just stay in line, and you won't have to see me for a letter of reprimand.
Right.
I'm lost.
Well, but lots of respect for anybody who serves. Had a couple of veterans on now. And so everybody thank Lauren for her service. You're still a reservist. But can I ask you what you do for a living now then? Because you said you still work on the military base, but you're not active duty.
No. So I got a second degree after I left active duty. I wanted to go back to school and do music, so I did. And specifically, I did music therapy. So now I work in a hospital with adolescent psych inpatients. I just had my first full week last week, and it was hard.
I don't doubt it.
It is really hard.
As a person who has a couple of adolescent children, well-adjusted ones are tough enough. I can only imagine the ones that are,
Yeah.
But music therapy, that's really cool. So tell me, just tell me a little bit more about what that's like.
Yeah, well, it works in a similar way to, it can address many different goals that a patient is working on. Like, speech therapy will address speech and swallowing, and occupational therapy will address making sure that a patient, that somebody can do like household tasks, what they need to do every day just to get up and move around. And physical therapy is more intensive with, I think, your lower body. And music therapy, it works on physical goals, but it also works on psychosocial goals too, like just helping to regulate emotions and behavior, and help people who are, like with these kids who are in inpatient psych, a lot of them are definitely dealing with suicidal ideation, and music therapy is a really positive coping skill for them. Like they can learn how to use music to vector their mood and like reach a different mind state than they're currently in. I'm making it sound like it's magic, and it's not magic. Like there is some hard work involved in it, but it's just presenting some options to them.
The thing is,
to kind of get through the day, because that's what they need to do.
I'm with you on that 100%, because I mean, I'm a believer. I'm a musically minded person. I've been making music since I started taking violin lessons when I was maybe 10 years old. No, I do not play the violin or the trombone anymore, or any of that stuff from way back in the day. But, I do love music, and it's, like my 10 rules for living your best life. Number 1 and number 2 are everyday sing and everyday dance.
I love that.
Even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just yourself in the shower, even if all you're doing is nodding along, and swinging your shoulders while you're driving to work, listening to something and singing along, music is part of the human experience. It's probably, along with what Sandry's doing, the oldest form of art in the world.
And there's art therapy too. We have an art therapist in the psych unit. So yeah, there are a lot of different modalities in the creative arts therapy profession, and it's really exciting when people connect with it and when it really works for them.
Right on. Well, that it's wonderful that you are drawn to that. Adolescence is a tough time in the best of circumstances.
It's really tough. It's really tough. And I work with them mostly in groups. So there's always one kid who's just not doing it.
Yep.
Not doing the thing. And I always want to engage everybody, but it's not realistic too. So that's a big thing that I'm working on right now. Like not trying to be 100% all the time. I think that's something I've always been working on, is settling for less than that in all aspects.
Right.
Because it's not really achievable. But I don't know, when you actually see people who are connecting with it, and then one person who isn't, you really do want to reach that one person, and then you have to remind yourself, well,
yeah, it's
not everybody's thing, and that's okay.
Right. Yeah, and you've got to help the people that want to be helped and that are there helping themselves too. Well, Sue just popped up. Susan Miller, Sue the Fury, just popped up and said, "I vaguely remember shouting drunkenly at Shakes about our work during the con at the bar." So there you go. Also, while Sue is in the chat, Sue, I want the next Con of Thrones to be in Denver. I'm just saying, Denver, altitude, beautiful backdrop, cooler weather. Shakes, tell the lady where you want the next Con of Thrones to be, because, I mean,
I don't know. Have it in Seattle. That would be gret, because then I wouldn't have to travel. But I know that's not realistic for everybody else. So it's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. I really liked the Dallas location that we had a couple years ago.
And I mean, I live in this Dallas suburb, so
that was convenient for you.
Yeah, very. But I feel like if I just say come back to Dallas, I feel like I'm being selfish. So Denver is in the middle. It's got beautiful mountains.
Denver would be cool.
It's got free recreational. That's
Nothing.
all. There's a lot of things that you can do recreationally. There's mountains and beautiful vistas and lots of.
Go out.
I probably won't be doing any of it. I'll probably just be drinking in the hotel bar. I mean, let's be honest. But
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like wherever we go, it would be really cool to have the conference facilities co-located with the hotel where most people.
Having the hotel
like
there
in Dallas
probably...
that 1 year. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, hi Sue. Thanks for stopping by.
Hi Sue.
I know we were like jumped on her.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
As soon as I saw her, I'm just like, hey.
Yay.
Anyway, so Shakes, Lauren.
Yeah.
Obviously, you do love the music, and obviously you do love the Shakespeare, but that can't be all of it. So, like, did you play sports in high school, or you didn't do debate team, but like?
No, I did academic decathlon.
Okay, that's a thing, though.
Yeah, it is. Mary did it too, and that was cool because we were geeking out over what years we did it, and they didn't coincide, so we didn't do it the same year. She's a little bit younger than I am. But yeah, that was where you have 10 subjects and you have a theme for every year. And like I remember one year it was the Romantic era. So all the art that we studied were it was from the Romantic era, like Transcendentalism and Impressionism and all those movements. And then we were reading Thomas Hardy, and there was also some poetry that we read. And there was always a math category. I don't know how they tied that into the romantic theme. Maybe they did a little bit. And there was a super quiz which focused on anything and everything from one category. Like 1 year it was the internet. So first developed as that was in 2000 or whatever it was that I was doing it. What's that?
I said you won that. The internet section.
Aw. Yeah, Acadec was really fun. I think I studied harder for that than I did for my real classes because it was a challenge and it was a competition. I'm not usually a competitive person, but I did get competitive over Acadec. So,
well, I think having something where you get competitive is good for the spirit in a way,
Yeah.
It's good to struggle and strive for something that you want that you can't necessarily always achieve.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an important thing, I think that's why competition is good for kids. Teaches you how to lose.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway. I didn't do sports. I was never really into that because I was always doing theater. But when I lived in Guam, when I was stationed in Guam, I did get into laser sailing, and I was quite competitive with that. Not really great, but very competitive. So, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. There are lots of things in this world that you don't have to be good at to enjoy.
Yeah.
What's laser sailing, Lauren?
Yeah,
laser sailing is sailing, but in a little boat.
Tiny boat?
It depends on your definition of tiny, but they're about, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 feet long.
Okay, it's like a canoe size.
Tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of that. And they capsize really easily, so it was easy to do it. It was nice sailing in Guam where the water was very warm and you didn't have to be afraid of freezing to death every time you capsized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like fun, though. I would try it for sure.
Yeah. It was really fun.
I'm really
recommend.
So, JR, last week's guest wanted to ask you, what was your first fandom? And we're going to remove Shakespeare and go with something more traditionally nerdy. What was your first fandom?
Well, I remember reading Harry Potter when it was coming out and I was in high school. But I don't think that I went on the internet in search of the fandom or anything. I don't know. I also really, really like, I would have to say Star Wars because I subscribed to like a Star Wars magazine, or my mom did when I was a kid. And I bought lightsabers and I collected the toys, like the little figurines. Still have that collection somewhere. So probably Star Wars.
Well, that's cool though. Star Wars is a first fandom for a lot of people.
Yeah,
it is. It's a big one.
And rightly so. I'm trying to put up Kelly, aka Jaded Redhead, says laser boats are sexy, light, and fast, and she's like a sailing.
They are.
She's like a tall ship sailor. Like
oh yeah. I'm blanking on her Twitter handle.
Kelly Lowry.
Yeah. Yes, she's awesome.
Yeah. So if anybody knows, she knows. And I wanted to put her on screen, but I'm going to take it off because it's covering up Mallory's face.
Oh, that's okay. You can cover my face any day. Go for it.
I mean, most people, I'm just going to leave it up to the chat. Do we cover Mallory's face?
Yes.
So we'll just, we'll just cover it up until they tell me that I'm a terrible person for doing so.
Yeah. Sexy, light, and fast. That's the description I'm going with from now on. Laser sailing. It's definitely what it feels like. They're very fast.
Right on. It sounds like a lot of fun. I have sailed before, but it's been since I was, 12 or 13 since I've on a sailing ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, everybody says no. Don't put it up. Don't.
Oh. Well, I think we see it. I think it's good.
Yeah. People want to see your face.
That's a lovely portrait you're drawing of me, Mallory.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Awesome.
I had to pull up reference from my vast stash of photos from you from the con.
I love it. I kind of look like Angelina Jolie.
I mean,
you do got those.
You have beautiful skin.
Got those sexy eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Star Wars first fandom. How do you like the new movies? I'm going to guess that you like them just fine.
Yeah, they're all right. They're good. I mean, they're fine. I'm not. I liked The Force Awakens better than I liked The Last Jedi. And I don't want to talk. I feel like everybody has talked about how much they don't The Last Jedi too much. So
say as much or as little as you like.
Yeah, for me, it was just an editing, like a stylistic issue. It was just the editing. Like there are too many subplots for me, and I'm very much more of a classic sort of one plot, one subplot, maybe two subplots, if one of them is linked into the other one, sort of a thing. So. I don't know. And I think that maybe partially I think that movies are trending that way in general. And maybe it's partly because of how TV series can explore so many plots at the same time. Mm-hmm. And movies are beginning to try and do that too, but it's too much in 2 hours for me.
I agree completely. Guys,
or 3 hours or whatever it was.
Right. I think that's where modern streaming and modern television has the edge, has the edge on movies. That's why there's been a huge exodus from the theater for a lot of actors. They want to do, people got into Marvel, got to be in Marvel movies because it was the biggest movie thing to do. And now they're all going to Disney Plus shows.
Yeah. Right. And even the movies that are big blockbuster hits, the MCU movies, they're serialized, they're supposed to be watched
in a certain order and don't miss one.
And that's just how it is. I have a friend who published a book, her very first book last year, and she was really excited when it went to the publisher and everything. And then they said, okay, let's do a sequel. And she was like, no, this isn't meant to be a series. But that's just kind of where all media is headed in this series direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree. That that long arc storytelling has become very popular.
Long arc storytelling. That's a good word for it. Yeah.
And then they get canceled when they're just getting good, like the OA. I don't know if you've seen that, Lauren, but
no, I haven't.
It's a lot. But speaking on things being long form like serials, if you give them enough time, they can get really good. But if you cancel them because you're making room for something else, like Netflix did to the OA, then all that's gone to waste. So it's what's the point of doing this? And I don't know.
I'm really appreciative of the short form, though. I mean,
yeah.
I was watching some Twilight episodes the other day. I was like, God, we need more. We need more of this.
Like Twilight Zone?
I like the half-hour bite-size stories. Those are cool.
You mean Twilight Zone?
Didn't I say Twilight Zone?
I think you said Twilight.
I did not say Twilight.
I heard Twilight Zone.
Okay, well, maybe my brain just checked out.
We need more movies like Twilight.
Yeah, I'm just like, wait a minute. That's not what she means. I'm sure of it. But hey, if you like Twilight, I've got no hate for you.
Yeah, if you like Twilight, that do you.
Right.
I definitely got enjoyment out of Twilight in my own way.
Well, again, love what you love. All right, now here was a question or kind of a comment from Emilio at Stannis Arcanine, and he quotes Henry IV, Part 2. And he said, "Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown." Do you feel like that's inspiration for a Stannis quote from Davos 4? "I never asked for this crown.
Yeah.
Gold is cold and heavy on the head, but so long as I am king, I have a duty." And he just wanted to expand on that and to maybe discuss any other like big influences you've seen, maybe line for line type influences you've seen.
Yeah, I definitely think that line is, I mean, I'm not sure. It's hard to say whether George looked at that line or was thinking of that line when he was writing Stannis, that particular passage that you quoted, but it's definitely evocative of that uneasy lies now I'm going to forget what it is. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown, or something like that. Yeah, it definitely echoes that a whole lot.
Are there any other quotes that you can think of that do echo? I mean, if not, again, I'm springing all this.
Yeah, I write a lot of essays. I don't want to misquote things. So
yeah, you're a research and get it right type person.
I am. I'm not like
my pants,
Stephen told me we were just going to be cold and off the cuff. I was like, okay, but I'm not going to be coming up with a lot of brilliant things because I'm not very. I don't memorize these lines. I don't want to get things wrong.
That's okay.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot, like in Stannis' storyline specifically, there's a lot of language that has to do with the washing of hands and hands being clean. And that reminds me of Macbeth in a big way, because that's that kind of language is definitely present in Macbeth, and ties directly to a guilty conscience, a clean conscience. And even though we don't get Stannis's POV, we get hints that he is suffering psychologically, as Macbeth does and Lady Macbeth does. So I generally think of Stannis as more kind of a, I don't know, a Macbeth type of character, but with differences, because there are character differences. It's not like he's just got this ruthless ambition that Macbeth has. Does he have ambition? Sure, of course he does. Even if he says it's all in the name of duty, it's not purely in the name of duty. He definitely feels like he's been the least Baratheon brother, and I think that that's part of it. At least a little part of his desire to want the throne. Of course, he has genuine desire to do good for the people. For the people of Westeros, but there's this huge, heavy psychological burden that he's dealing with, as Macbeth does. How far do you go to achieve those ends? And I'm looking forward to reading about that in Winds of Winter.
All right. I think that's a great answer. Emilio inevitably is going to ask about Stannis, so he's very pleased that you took the time to pound upon that. He's one of those like B-Fish does, you don't even have to ask and he'll bring it up.
Sure.
I've got a great question for you from Kat Harding on Facebook, who wants to know, what is your favorite fake fruit flavor?
Fake fruit flavor. Grape. I love grape, which seems to be the most unpopular fake fruit flavor, but I don't know why.
Great.
I don't know how to expound on it. I just like grape.
But fake grape.
Fake grape, yeah. Because you know why? Because it's not the typical grape that you get at the store unless Concord grapes are in season, or unless you live in a place where they're always in season. I don't know. Where are Concord grapes from? Are they from? Isn't there a Concord, Massachusetts or something? I don't think they're from there, though. I think they're from California, because when I was in California for a business trip, I remember going to the store and having them for the first time. And I was like, whoa, this is what the grape flavor is.
Yeah, we have wild grapes around here, but they're called Mustang grapes. We don't have the good stuff, the Concord stuff, like they put in jelly.
It's hard to find because they go bad really quickly. So
the more you know about grapes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. Fake grape. Great fake grape.
Lauren, here's a Jamie, a Bramey, if you will. And
I love it.
He looks a lot like Brock from Pokemon. And
I didn't say it, but like I was convinced you were drawing Brienne first.
Yeah, I did.
I love it.
Sandry, I'm so glad you're here. You brighten the room everywhere you go. Anyway, Fifson at 613 Shifty wants to know which Shakespeare character would be the best king of the Seven Kingdoms. Which is, a good question, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to cheat and answer this the way that I did on Sir Buckley's podcast first. And then I'm going to think if I can come up with a different answer, because I like to diversify the answer. So the way I answered it on his Isle of Faces podcast, after some hemming and hawing, because I didn't think about it first, I said Macduff, because he really has his feelings in check. He talks about how he can grieve for his family that he's lost, how he needs to grieve first and then do what he needs to do, go back to battle, get back into politicking, all of that. And I really respect that, because I think that that's what we're looking at in A Song of Ice and Fire with a lot of these kings and rulers who don't make it. They don't achieve that balance between ice and fire, between justice and mercy and all of that. And Macduff is somebody who definitely knows how to keep a good balance. So, I mean, he doesn't end up the King of Scotland at the end of Macbeth. That's Malcolm, but I see him as somebody who has qualities of a really good ruler. So
great answer.
I would choose him. Let's see, for another king that would be a good ruler. I don't know. I guess Henry V, because he's Henry V and he kicks ass in the play. So I'm sure he would kick ass in Westeros too.
Right on. Good enough answer for this kid. Sandry, you look like maybe you have a question?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm just contemplating what Lauren said and drawing Tiny Stannis. So.
Oh, Tiny Stannis. Gonna draw a proud ring too?
Sure.
You've probably done that drawing before.
Probably.
You've probably done a lot of proud wings in the day.
I love the shiny spot on his head. That's great. Okay. Vanessa also wants to know, which character do you in A Song of Ice and Fire do you wish had a POV that does not?
Let's see. I don't know.
That's okay. I guess
it would be cool to read anybody's POV. I know that George R. R. Martin said that he would have liked to have written a Rob POV, and yeah, that would have been cool to read. But I don't know. I'm just like such a deliberate person. I like to think about these things and then look at all the list of all my favorite characters who don't have a POV and then think about it. So I don't know.
Yeah, let's be honest. I would read a Strong Belwas, Fat Walda. I would read any of those POVs.
Yeah,
if George is writing it, I would read it.
Secondary characters like that. That would be really good. I would rather have one of those than a primary character. I was just trying to think of one that. Fat Waldo would be really interesting. That would be
I think so too.
Maybe a Mormont POV too. I would like to know more about the Mormonts. They're one of my favorite, minor or lesser than great houses.
Okay.
Great houses anyway.
Right. What are you laughing at?
What are you
I'm
laughing
sorry,
at?
my drawing.
Oh.
Oh, that's the tiniest crown.
Oh, look at that cute little crown.
I'm sorry. I'm a train wreck.
You shouldn't be sorry. That's fantastic.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
well,
great.
I'm going to roll with it. Pat Spinagle had another great question. Was since we've seen something like a Shakespearean treatment of Robert's death to Joffrey's poisoning, what A Song of Ice and Fire events would you like to see the Braavosi play treatment of?
Okay, can you repeat that?
Okay, so in the show,
No, you can just repeat it. I think that
Okay.
I was thinking about Sanri's drawing. Just repeat it.
That's fair.
I totally missed the whole question.
That's completely okay. That's completely
Daydreaming.
I wanted her to come on to be disruptive. That's the whole reason you're here. Okay, since we've seen something like a Shakespearean treatment of Robert's death, of the events running from Robert's death through Joffrey's poisoning, what A Song of Ice and Fire events would you like to see a Braavosi treatment of?
Oh man, the Red Wedding would be good.
It really would.
That would be great.
With like bathroom humor and the typical Shakespearean.
Yeah. I think that Quentin's roasting would be a good one too.
Yeah.
I would like to see the set for it. I would like to see how they do the dragon lair and the dragons. See, I don't know. I'm just saying things that come instantly to mind. John stabbing, that would be that's ripe for stage adaptation because it already has. It was influenced obviously by Julius Caesar,
right?
So it would be great to see that imported back onto the Braavosi stage and how they handle that.
I mean, I think that's almost like Inception on some level, like art imitating the art that it's imitating.
Artception.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go, Pat.
Speaking of POVs, maybe I would like to have had a Bowen Marsh POV, since he's the one who's crying when he stabs Jon Snow. He's kind of like the Brutus in that scene. I think it would have been interesting to have a POV from him to explore his emotions and kind of how it is looking at Jon's Lord commandership from their point of view.
So you just made me realize that Bowen Marsh might be is somewhere in Essos. I believe it's in Karth. There's to cry is to be very manly, and there's also the sorrowful men who apologize. So so Bowen Marsh is an assassin. That's the new tinfoil. Thanks for that.
Nice, love it.
Am I wrong about that though? Don't they cry, and it's like a very masculine thing to cry in that culture?
They do, and Daenerys sees through it, doesn't she? Tells Zoro and Doxos, "Oh, cut the bullshit. I know what you're doing."
Fake tears.
Come on.
But they also have the sorrowful men who apologize right before they kill you.
Yeah.
I forgot about that detail.
So, I think Bowen Marsh might be a Karthine assassin.
He could be.
I mean, there's faceless men theories for everyone out there. So why not Karthine assassin?
Yeah, I know. We never hear about how our boys at the wall might secretly be Quaithe or whoever. It's always the more interesting characters down south who might be whoever. So why can't we have some tinfoil for our boys at the wall?
Our wall boys.
Our wall boys.
Yeah, there's just not enough tinfoil at the wall, is there?
There isn't.
Somebody out there will get on that, I'm sure of it.
Ernie.
There you go. I believe in you, Bernie. Okay, well, I think we've pretty well worked through the questions. Okay, Emilio has another one. What is your favorite anime?
Does Lauren watch anime?
That's a good question.
I really liked Spirited Away.
Okay, that's a good
one
answer.
that I've seen. Does that count as anime?
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I really liked it. I need to see some more Miyazaki. I know I've seen at least one more Miyazaki film, but I can't remember
You
what
should
it was.
watch Princess Mononoke. It's fantastic.
My favorite is Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, those all look really good. One weekend, I'll do a Miyazaki weekend. But I
And
did
I would
really
also,
love Spirited Away.
I'm always going to recommend Akira and the original Ghost in the Shell movie as well, just because they're groundbreaking for what they did at the time. Akira is trippy and weird, and I love it. But you want the real skinny on anime? Ask Sanri. She knows way more than I do about it.
I know a bit.
Okay, we'll do.
Don't dox me, bro. I don't think that's the right definition of dox. But
I don't think so either. So I have an unrelated question for you now, Lauren. And this is, I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, but I like to ask people this. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Defend your position.
Gosh, I remember this. We were this started on our witches live stream, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
It did. And now it's come full circle.
It has. And there still isn't an answer yet.
Yeah, I mean, technically it is, but I wouldn't call it a sandwich.
Okay.
You could define it as that. You could, but if you're saying I'm going to have a sandwich, that doesn't usually include hot dog in that category.
Okay. So what is your definition of sandwich then? Is it down to like it's a thing between two separated pieces of bread?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if I rip the hot dog bun? Because what if I rip the hot dog bun in half and then put the hot dog and the two pieces of bread aren't attached anymore? Now is it a sandwich?
No. It has to have more.
Because it has a sausage. I don't think that it could be a sandwich if you cut the hot dog up into little pieces. If you sliced it up and then you rearranged it on the sliced hot dog bun, flat,
okay, so you
flat,
have to
circular hot dog pieces, and then you layered, because a sandwich is about layers, and there's nothing that, I don't know. A hot dog is more layered kind of vertically, like you put the dog down in between in the bun, and then you layer on your condiments. But a sandwich, yes, Mallory has my vision here. She's drawing the little sliced up dog.
And then you have a separated piece of bread. I like your layers.
Yeah.
That's an important part of the definition, I think.
I think it is.
Because a lot of people get hung up on the one piece of bread versus two pieces of bread. And I'm like, that can't be the same.
No, I think that there's more to a sandwich. A sandwich has many layers.
It has more than
like an onion or an ogre or a parfait.
I don't.
Yeah.
No.
I love it.
No, it's not a sandwich.
I think we solved it. I think we solved hot dogs and sandwiches.
Okay. Well,
you did great, Mallory.
Joe,
thank you.
Or Matt, Joe Magician, I know you'll be watching this later. You're moving right now, so but we have an answer. Thank you, Lauren.
Cool. I remember that. Yeah, and that witches live stream that we were doing. I think that people weren't even paying attention to what we were saying. They were just in the chat, doing the sandwich hot dog debate for a solid 2 hours.
It was ongoing. I paid attention. Obviously, I paid attention. Like I say, it worked its way into my D&D game.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not grousing. I enjoy that it became a thing. I was trying to remember how it happened, but of course, witch, and then somehow somebody got on
sandwich. And what's the favorite?
Get it? It's funny.
Yeah,
you're funny. You guys are funny.
Har. So funny.
But yeah, I really my favorite video you've done, Lauren, is the triple aspect, which is just because because witch characters are very prominent in a lot of fantasy storytelling, obviously, and but the way you've identified the archetypes made it so solid and understandable for me that it became a storytelling technique that I used in my D&D game, and like it allowed me to like have a really clear understanding of what I was trying to evoke with this big bad guy character, who is a mother aspect witch, who is, you know, when you think about all the mother goddess symbols and you flip them on their head, you become a pretty terrible person.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I'm really glad that was inspiring. I remember writing it and not sure what I was doing. I knew I wanted to talk about witches, but I wasn't sure how to tie it all together. And I ended up making a table of all the witches and putting check marks and all the different qualities that they had. And then I thought, wait a second, there are 3 different kinds of witches. And that makes sense because
it really does.
And it makes sense because then later I realized that people like scholars who have studied this stuff, fairy tales and, you know, archetypes in literature have written about this. So it wasn't original for me, but it was cool to stumble across that and just have it come out organically and then realize later, oh yeah, this triple goddess figure is a huge deal and very defining in how we think of witches and different types of witches in literature. So yeah, it was a fun one.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, you don't have a lot of content on your channel, but I would swear by anything you've put out there. It's just, you know, you are very much a quality over quantity type of person. Very high quality content, no matter what even when you eat habaneros and then recite Shakespeare, even that is entertaining.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope to do some more. It's been busy lately. I feel like I've had a little bit of a hiatus from Twitter and the Twitteros world because I've been getting used to my new job, but I hope to be back creating some new content soon.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we all, I can only really speak for myself, but eagerly await whatever's next from you. And I couldn't even begin to imagine what it would be, simply because I've heard you sing, I've heard you play cello, I've heard you recite Shakespeare. You know, I've seen you do the analytical stuff, and you know, I'm a big fan. And for those of you who don't follow her on Twitter, I mean, you're not living your best life. That's all I'm saying. Lauren is, the way I put it is, she's a top tier follow. Like, great stuff comes out of her account. Occasionally, the odd Shakespeare quote here and there, especially on Shakespeare Sundays, which you decided you helped decide the theme this week of Shakespeare Sunday.
Yeah, we did. There are a few of us who have been doing it for quite a while now, and we're all kind of niche accounts. And we decided to do life and death this week. So I woke up today with some comments like, "Whoa, wow, you're in a really sad mood this morning," because I had just posted all these death scenes from Game of Thrones. See, a lot of times the Shakespeare Sunday theme is something like love and friendship, and those are the ones that are difficult for me. I mean, there are plenty of lovely scenes between characters in Game of Thrones, but I end up using a lot of the same gifs. And matching them with the same quotes. And death, oh my goodness, then that really opens up the that opens up what I can work with a whole lot. So I was the one who was saying when we were deciding on the theme, can we do death, please?
Right. Well, I will say this. Old Billy, he sure liked writing about it too. You know, it's
Willie
killing folks. Shakespeare liked killing folks too.
He did.
And in cruel and inventive ways sometimes, you know, getting stabbed to death. I mean, he didn't invent the death of Julius Caesar, let's be honest, but
no.
You know,
but he took his own spin on it.
Yeah.
And came up with a lot of pretty words to put death in perspective of life, and so many good quotes.
So let me ask you something, because there's a bit of a debate. Dante, when he wrote Paradise Lost, or no, not
Inferno.
Yeah, yes. I'm sorry.
No.
Getting my when Dante wrote Inferno, he put Brutus, suffering in hell for what he did. But you get I think it was Voltaire lauded him as maybe like the most noble and honorable of all the.
Yeah, I didn't hear about the Voltaire thing. I mean, I know even George R. Martin quotes. He talks about how Dante put Brutus and Cassius and,
right
in the like last circle of.
Right.
Or no, wait, it was Brutus and Judas Iscariot. Maybe
right,
in
right. They're like seated next to each other in hell.
Yeah. But then Shakespeare talks about Brutus as the noblest Roman of them all, and like where's the disconnect? And that's like Shakespeare doing kind of a similar thing to what George R. R. Martin does in all his POVs. He takes a situation and reframes it and gets us to consider how this guy could be honorable. And I mean, Julius Caesar wasn't so much a history as it was just a study of ideology, like this big ideological tragedy, like what is honor, what is noble. And Brutus was trying to do what he thought was best for the Roman state. He really agonized over it because Caesar was his friend, but in the end he thought that it was the best thing to do, and he stuck to his morals. And then at the end of the play, when Julius Caesar appeared, okay, now I did the wrong thing, and I'm going to fall on my sword, because the Roman state just it doesn't get any better. I mean, killing Julius Caesar wasn't the answer. The Roman state descended into war and chaos anyway as a result of the whole power vacuum that happened after his death. And after Brutus was defeated in battle, he realized that and fell on his sword, and that was the noble thing to do back in the day of ancient Rome. So and Antony called him the noblest Roman of them all, because he saw that he really was sticking to his guns. Now, I don't know, was he the smartest in the play? I don't know about that, because he believed a lot of things based on hearsay, because Cassius was working him as well as Littlefinger, and two different questions. Maybe, can you be noble and maybe not clever? Well, I think so.
Here's the thing.
But it definitely sets up a lot of philosophical questions.
Don't ask me the origin of the quote, but somebody in the chat will know, and maybe you know. But the road to hell is paved with good intentions,
right?
So maybe a little bit of both is true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. And I think it's just the important thing. I think what Shakespeare and George R. R. Martin do that's very similar is they take these stories that we know so well. Like Shakespeare took Julius Caesar and reframed it from Brutus's perspective, and so we understand him to be as maybe not the worst guy in the world who deserves to be in the last circle of hell. And then George R. R. Martin takes all these fantasy tropes and interrogates them so that we look at them a little bit differently too. And it's just very engaging. And just intellectually stimulating to think about those stories from a different perspective.
Right on. I love that answer. Okay.
That's so cute. That is so precious.
I know. Like, I kind of want that on a t-shirt. All the...
Thank you for this gift, Lauren.
Sandra, you need to post that and tag B-Fish. Just, it's beautiful. Okay, y'all, we've got about 20 minutes left. So, folks in the chat, if you have a question for Lauren, go ahead and start throwing out your questions for her. It's your last chance to ask her anything. So, Lauren, I'm going to now move to I always ask folks this at the end. If I had life to live over again, obviously, you change things, you change everything, but I wish I had gone to film school. When I win the lottery, I'm opening a film studio, and I do love to ask folks about when occasionally my mouth gets ahead of my brain, or
it's been a lot of talking. We've been doing a lot of talking.
Well, it's a talk show. What else? You know, but if we were going to make a movie about your life, which includes, you know, moving all over and a lot of meta acting as you become a Shakespearean character, I want to know who would we cast as Lauren in the movie about Lauren?
Oh my goodness. See, that's really hard because you're like getting me to think about people who look like me or something.
No. You don't want to look like you. Somebody who can capture your uniqueness. They don't have to look like you necessarily.
Let's see.
But somebody who you would be proud to have portray you on screen.
Probably Kate Winslet. I grew up watching a lot of her stuff and being a big fan of her work.
Good answer.
I think Kate Winslet. But that was the first name that really comes to mind.
Okay.
Being an older me, I guess, because there's like 15 years of difference between us or something. Well, maybe 10 years. Yeah, 10 years.
Well, you know, makeup, digital de-aging, there's lots they can do to make her look younger when she needs to play a younger you, you know?
I'm sure technology is just going to be great. Anybody can look younger whenever they want.
Right. Rick Hop is asking, is it Hop or Hope? I'm not sure. Is asking what kind of bird that is. That's Proudwing the falcon that can't fly.
He's so cute. Look at his little eye, that expression on his face. Oh,
you know,
he loves
like,
Stannis.
Is it a crow or a parrot? No, it is in fact a falcon. Stannis' falcon, Proudwing.
And the little black heart.
Yeah.
I'm such a bird person. Oh my gosh. She's seen a drawing of them, even. Love them.
Yeah. I'm a bird lover too. So, Lauren, we've got Kate Winslet now to play Lauren. Great.
Yes.
Definitely. Who would be the director? Whose unique vision would you bring to your movie?
Ooh.
Because yeah.
These are really tough questions.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun questions.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I really love Peter Weir. I enjoy his work a lot, Peter Weir. But I don't think that my life would be on the epic nature of the kind of, on the epic scale of the type of movies that he does.
Oh, we're gonna make it that way. I see. Yeah,
I would just say Peter Weir because I feel like this is asking me for favorite directors, and I would have to say Peter Weir is my favorite. And I'm forever bummed. I'm forever bummed that there was never a part 2 of Master and Commander. So
that was a fantastic
you all should be ashamed
movie.
of yourselves for not seeing it in the theater the weekend it came out.
I did not see it. I did not see it in theaters, but I did watch that movie, and it is quite good. I'm a big fan of Paul Bettany.
Oh, you know, yeah, so. he's great too. Yeah, everybody was just solid gold in that movie.
Yep. I would have picked Kenneth Branagh
Branagh. Yeah. You know, he does weird things sometimes, though.
He does.
I mean, he's done good stuff, but I don't know. I didn't like his As You Like It. I was like, man, this is a little bit gimmicky. So
I never saw that one.
I do like him. I don't want anybody to think I'm saying anything bad about Kenneth Branagh. I love him, and that's why I can criticize him.
Right.
Because I love him. But
a true fan can be
I don't know if his style would. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's very, thinking about my life as a movie is not something that I really enjoy thinking about. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest.
Okay.
I think I just like talking about favorite actors and directors.
Okay. Well,
it's probably why I ended up not being an actor, because I really liked it, but in the end, the whole atmosphere was too competitive and weird for me to go into professionally.
I'm with you. I get it. So we need a movie, or we need a working title to pitch this movie to Hollywood. No. So God. I know, right? I love this is my favorite part of the show. After you're already tired from being on for over an hour, to spring this stuff on you, the silly questions.
Oh no!
And you know, we'll just move on to Nessie. Okay. Nessie has a great question. Who's your third favorite Shakespearean character?
God. Let's see. Yeah, so Falstaff and Cleopatra are probably my top two.
Okay.
Third, I really like Lear's Fool. He's really funny. He's a lot like Patchface. She's kind of creepy and wise. Maybe not so creepy as Patchface. That's the one that comes to mind first. And what's really cool is when there's a double casting of Lear's Fool and Cordelia, who is King Lear's daughter that he scorns and exiles from his kingdom without any land, because she doesn't tell him how much she loves him like his other daughters do. And what's interesting is oftentimes in productions of the play, they'll have the actress who plays Cordelia play the fool, because then the fool tells Lear what Cordelia wants to say to him but can't.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
So
That's
I like that.
Great answer. Great answer. Okay, so Joe S. Question: what director would you like to see direct a Shakespeare play, not Brana?
What director would I like to see?
Yeah,
directed?
it's on the screen right now.
Yeah. Okay. See, what directors are there? I'm gonna Google directors. I'm sorry, you guys. This is just like
it's okay.
You're doing amazing,
I don't even.
How would you?
I don't even really keep. I don't know. Maybe the Coen brothers. Maybe that would be interesting. Miyazaki would be really interesting. That would be. I would love to see an anime Shakespeare. That would be fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's a great answer, actually.
Which Shakespeare play
that would be fun.
Would be the coolest anime or a cool anime?
I think A Midsummer Night's Dream, just because that's one's like already trippy in a lot of ways.
That sprang to mind first for some reason for me too.
Yes.
I don't know if it's because it's one of the most performed ones, because the most performed are Midsummer Night's Dream, Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, and Hamlet. I believe like those are the four that get performed over and over again. But I don't know. I think that Miyazaki would probably be more interested in one of the lesser known ones, one of the late Shakespeare romances, maybe like The Tempest, even though that's pretty well known. It's probably one of his better known, lesser known ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or maybe Cymbeline. Cymbeline would be a really interesting one because it has a lot of Shakespearean tropes in it that kind of get all mashed together in one play. It's got a bit of tragedy, a bit of comedy, a bit of cross-dressing, and yeah.
All right,
I don't know.
Great answer. So my mom wants to know, which A Song of Ice and Firehouse would Shakespeare serve?
That's a good question.
Now, I think I have an answer for this, but I would like to hear what you have to say.
I think that I think it would be interesting if I would like to see him as the playwright for the Bravosi plays, or maybe the playwright that's sort of the court playwright for the Lannisters and is kind of controlling their media, who's putting on plays for the peasants of King's Landing and trying to get them to like the Lannisters. That would be interesting if there were that element. But I don't think that Shakespeare would like that very much. The thing is that we know so little about Shakespeare and what who he actually was and what he felt and what his politics were. I mean, we know that he's really good at being subjective, and even when he is writing plays to kiss Tudor ass, I don't know, he's good at balancing it and making it not too one-sided.
Right. Actually,
he's very good at writing the opposite point of view too.
Cool. I like that idea. I mean, and I think you're right. I think that's what George is channeling with, Ferrio Farrell, if you will. Not Serio, Ferrio Farrell, who writes the plays and Bravos and the books. I think, that style is...
Oh, is that who does it?
Yeah.
Let's see. I haven't read these books. I don't know.
What?
What?
I'm kidding.
What books?
Great. But I tend to think that Shakespeare would be best utilized, if not Bravos, put him in Dorne, where they have, more relaxed. He can be a little bit more risque, a little more baudy,
in Dorne.
In Dorne.
Yeah, I like that.
Get away with it.
Yeah. I don't know. He might write. It might have been that he wrote really well under pressure, though, because he was very prolific. So I don't know. Perhaps that would be too much wine and relaxation and oranges.
And oranges.
I was trying to think of other things in Dorne, and I just
peppers,
lemons,
good food. But
and a relaxed, non-puritanical view of sex, which might serve him very well as a playwright.
Mm.
So Mijicam wants to know. It's almost more interesting to ask what character Shakespeare would be.
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't know. I think that he's he's very much a. I see him as Varys or Jaqen Hagar, somebody who's very meta. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who just kind of delivers those lines that are very quotable and mystical and a little bit like voice of the author.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Type of vibe. I think that he would be Varys or Jaqen, maybe even Quaithe, even though I'm not the biggest Quaithe fan. But there we have our Quaithe. Quaithe is Shakespeare.
Nice. I'm here for it. You're gonna get the snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, y'all, we're about 8 minutes left. Last chance to throw in any last questions. Sandry, if you've got anything you'd like to ask Lauren, now's the perfect opportunity. We still have her. She hadn't run off yet.
I think I got all my questions out earlier when I
think I got most of mine out too. Michicam has a great question. She just says, Littlefinger, question mark?
What about Littlefinger?
Maybe is Shakespeare could he be more like a Littlefinger type character? Because you said Varys, who's sort of meta with the author.
Oh, it was a continuation of that conversation.
Right. Yeah, that was her original question.
Maybe, but in my mind, Littlefinger is Iago in A Song of Ice and Fire. Like he already has his Shakespeare parallel.
Right.
And I hadn't been able to figure out a parallel for Varys yet. So I kind of like Shakespeare as Varys.
Yeah, the author himself.
Yeah, the mummer.
Hey, all right, I like it.
Yeah.
Works. I hope you like this horrible portrait, Lauren.
I love it.
That is
great.
For those of you that weren't here at the very beginning, that is Lauren in drag as the Bard.
It's awesome.
I think it's great.
It's your Twitter came to life. Right there.
I couldn't be happier that you're here for this, Sandry. I just you should come back sometime.
Yes.
But not next week.
Because I'll be at Dragon Con.
Because you'll be at Dragon Con along with half the people.
Half the family.
In Twitteros are going to be at Dragon Con.
So what other kinds of fandoms are at Dragon Con?
It's just multi-fandom nerddom. It's going to be every your Harry Potters and your Star Wars and your Star Treks and your A Song of Ice and Fire and all of it.
I've never.
But it seems like it leans towards series stories with dragons because the name.
I think it's just meant to identify it as sort of like a fandom convention. Because Dragon Con's been around for a long, long time. And I've never been, but it has the reputation of being like the party convention.
I've heard it's nerdy gras. I've heard that.
Yes, there you go.
So I'm excited to look forward to what exactly that means.
Ooh,
nerdy gras sounds awesome.
Yeah,
yeah. I would love to go. Lots of great folks going to be there. Like I don't know if you've been paying attention to what Aziz and Ashea and Lady Triple and Matt McSorley have been posting this week. But like
over in Ireland and Worldcon, right?
How do I get that life, man? To spend
They've been hanging out with George. They had like exclusive dinners and stuff with him.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've been having a time. It's great. Can't
Yeah.
wait to see them and check in and figure out how everything was going. It'll be a
That's
good time.
great.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, say hi to them for me when you see them next week, Mallory.
I will. I'll say hi for everybody.
Yeah. So that being said, y'all, we're going to move towards wrapping this up. As far as next week goes, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't have a guest lined up, and well, not most, but a lot of really great people who I want to have on this show are going to be busy next weekend. So we'll figure something out. I might try to stream some gameplay of something. Who knows what? But
because you guys are doing a Dungeons and Dragons like post Game of Thrones.
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
I might just like play Magic the Gathering on the computer and stream that or something. But yeah, I'm not sure what next week is. But the week after that, we have the lovely Jinx Lear is going to be the guest on I Know That Nerd. And that will be September the checking
8th.
schedule 8th.
It's the 8th. It's my birthday.
Oh, that's right. It's Sandry's birthday that day.
So happy birthday, Sandry.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah, everybody make sure you tell Sandry happy birthday on the 8th.
Please.
And cool. So, we're going to wrap up. Y'all, thanks to everyone who stopped by, said hi in the chat, and made this stream what it was. Lauren, thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast getting to know you a little bit better. You did not disappoint. You had really great answers, even though I know
hope not.
I know I put people on the spot intentionally. I like to, I like my guests to squirm a little bit. I
don't like squirming. I really don't.
But I could tell that you weren't. I'm not going to dwell on it and make you uncomfortable. But seriously, thanks a lot for coming on. You were a fantastic guest.
Well, thank you.
And so just one last time, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and find your stuff? And if you've got anything coming, what are you working on?
Yeah, you can find me at Shakes of Thrones on Twitter, and ShakespeareofThrones.com is my blog where I post essays, and I also have some recorded versions of those essays and Con of Thrones panels on my YouTube channel, Shakespeare of Thrones. I was going to start working on a new essay, but I haven't really started working on it yet because life is pretty busy. So I don't even want to put it out there yet because
new job.
It's one of those things where I'll start working on it and then I know, okay, this is actually going to be a thing, and then I talk about it. So just sit and wait, and maybe I'll drop something new in the next 6 months, year, 5 years. Ask me in 10 years. I don't know.
You've got the new job, and that's obviously eating up time and mental resources.
A whole lot.
Yeah, and I get it. And Sandry, what do you say that you come back when we do the Jinx interview? I mean, I know it's your birthday, but it'd be great to have you back.
I don't have anything else to do, so here's my very official looking art history portrait of Lauren.
There you go. I see a new
awesome.
I see a new Twitter icon is what I'm feeling.
You don't have to.
Love it. Oh, I'm definitely going to post it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I definitely am. That's
all
great.
right. Well, everyone, one last time, thank you so much for coming by. It was a blast. Lauren, you were great. Mallory, you were great. Everybody in the chat, you were great. And we'll see you next week for I don't know what, but we'll see you then. So until then, peace. Be excellent to each other. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.